this is the very means this shows very less option means the similar options in one page. You can create very quickly. The standard setup has six steps, and it will take some time, and you have detailed steps in each and every step. There are options are detailed way. Okay, let's do one thing. Let's create approval process with standard setup wizard. Approval process name is customer approval process on salary. Okay, and I'm clicking on next. So generally, if you don't want to go use approval process, if the amount of means the currency field is less than $5,000, yeah, then you can do that. So and again, I can put some different filters. Only only the people who are working in remote locations only has to go through approval process. Then I can take where their location equal to remote. The customer type equal to remote customer or remote employee. Then only I can go with this approval process. Okay, because there are different ways. See here, they give a simple example. For example, only expense reports from employees at headquarters should be used. This approval process means their location equal to headquarters means, if you know the place name, you can means it depends on the list options. If you do that, it's okay. Let's say one thing. If for suppose if your country equal to international or else India, so there's a quickest value. I have to use this. So your company is in USA, and the people who belongs to US, India, UK, Australia, and China and other needs an approval process. All the people who are submitting requests from USA, no need of approval process. You are going to approve immediately. But the requests coming from these countries, you need approval process. That's where I'm clicking on this. Okay, this is the filter I am giving to enter into my approval process, the basic criteria. I'm clicking on next. This is the step 2. First step is giving the name. That's very simple. Second step is filtering criteria. What records should go to the approval process. The third step is so you can specify the approver and record eligibility properties. Okay, so see, there are options for you. Who can approve your request? Manager or the new hierarchical relationship field. There's the option here, the manager field on your user object and the role hierarchy thing. Let's go with the manager. Use so there's one other way. So if I check this option, if I am creating the customer record, okay, then the person who created the records manager will be the approver. So generally what happens sometimes, so these records are available to other users also, right? If it is in public read-only mode, public read-write mode, okay, all the records are visible to all the people. I created the record. Akshay job is to submit the requests of the people who are submitting it. I'm not giving the permission to submit the request for the person who created the record. So if Akshay is the system admin of this company, if this person's job is to submit the requests, he can submit the request. Still, the request will go to not Access Manager, to the customers, means the record creator manager, means my manager. Use approval field of the customer's owner if I check this. Otherwise, if I'm not checking this, the request will go to the who is submitting the request, that person's manager, it will go to that person. Okay. Anyway, I'm removing this, that's not a problem. Anyway, I'm the one who is going to submit the create the record and submit the record, okay? Because it's training one at cbsolutions.com user. And record editability properties. Who can modify your record once the record is submitted for approval? Only system admin. This is one way. The other thing is system admins are the currently assigned approver can edit the record also. In the previous approval process which I showed to you, I have selected this option. I can also select this. Means when the request is submitted, generally in general scenarios, only the administrator who will managing the system org complete instance, or the person, means if I am submitting a request to my manager saying, hey, my expense for this personal travel is $7,500, he can update the request saying, hey, you can only, means you can approve your request by updating the value 5,000, saying you can only go up to 5,000 because in your benefits it says only 5,000. You can put down some comment when he's approving the record. That thing he can do. That's the reason I'm going to use this option. If you don't want to allow even that also, simply give the first option so that he cannot, the approver cannot modify the record. He can reject the record and put down the comment saying you cannot reimburse more than $5,000. Please resubmit the same request by updating the value. Once the rejection happened to the approval process, to the approval request, then that can be updatable by the person who submitted the request. So that's what happens. When the request is submitted to the manager, if he approves, that's fine. You're going to get the money and everything is went good. But if the manager feels that you are trying to reimburse more, he can say reject and he will put down that comment if you don't have permissions to edit. If you have permissions to edit, he can do it 5,000 and he can directly save it. That's fine. Again, he will put down the comment saying this. If you don't have permissions to edit, he will simply reject the record, reject the request and put down the comment saying you are trying to reimburse more than 5,000. According to your benefits, you can only reimburse up to $5,000. That's all you can put. It is in this way. And let's click on new, so that in this option you cannot even modify the record also, even the manager. And the approval template for the customer. So when I'm sending a request to my manager, so the Salesforce system will automatically send an email to the approver. See, select the email template that will be used to notify approvers that an approval request has been assigned to them. Notify them that this template will be used for all steps of this approval process. So you can only select only one template. The same template will be used for all the steps. Means I have to create a template for the approval process first of all. Means I'm in this scenario I'm going to use the general template. So what type of template I can build? If I'm trying to create on the expense object, so I can put a expense record means an expense is created by the person who created the record. Is the subject. Please approve. I can put down. Please approve the record submitted by. Please approve the expense submitted by Mr. XYZ, who is the person who created this record. This is the subject. I can put dynamically the person name who created the record. The subject I can put hi, the person name whom the approver name, manager name. So I will put down the details of the record. expense is I'll put down, please approve the request submitted by this person for this amount of money. This value also will be coming dynamically from the system of the expense record, and I can put down the details of all the expense record information, type of expense, personal or business, and the amount, date and time, all this information on the email, and I can put thanks, and I will generally put down the signature of the person who is submitting the request, so that in general way, here the person who is submitting the request is not sending the email. The system will send the email on the behalf of the person who is submitting the request. So I have to create the template like this for the customer object. Customer object notification, simple template. I'm using it. It don't say that it's approval process. It's a general template which I created. Okay, I'm clicking on next, and what all the fields I have to show on the approval page layout. I will show you where it will be available. This approval page layout will be available on the home page as well as on the extends object also. Means the object what you are using on the approval process. In that object there is a related list item. On that related list item you can see the status of the approval. Customer name, owner, I want to put down active or not. Customer country, and customer nationality also. That's what I means. Email, that's fine. This information I want to show. Remember the fields which I have added here. The owner I will put it at the bottom. Okay, monthly salary is the important field which I am running out. Okay, which I am running out the means approval process on this field only. So this is the fifth step. This is the fields which will show on the approval page layout. I will show it when remember the fields which I have added here, and approval page fields. Okay, display approval history information in addition to the field selected above. Approval history information means, for suppose if the request what you are submitting is first rejected by the manager because of high amount. Again, if it is rejected first time, and again if you are submitting for the next time. Okay, so now in this scenario there will be three items on the history. First is request submitted by the customer. Second is request rejected by the manager. Third information is request approved by the request again pending resubmitted by the user. Fourth thing is request approved by the manager. These are the 4 steps. You can see in the history information what happened to this request, whether he approved for the first time or second time or third time. You can see everything. So I'm selecting on this. Means I'm trying to show all the history information of this approval request. Okay. If I'm not selecting this, simply it shows whether the record is approved or not. It won't show how many times the manager asked for the resubmission, all this stuff. Okay. And security settings, allow approvers to access approval page only within the Salesforce application. That is one. The other thing is allow approvers to access approval page. The other thing is both Salesforce application and even it sends the message to your email, or okay, so that you will get a request. Apart from that, you can even see in mobile applications. That's all. Okay. So if you reply to that email saying approved, it generally approves, because in your approval email template you are sending information about the request. If you feel that the approval request is okay, then you can directly approve from your email also. If you are remotely, you can say reply If you put simply APPROVED, then it's approved. Okay, I'll show the demo. I'll click on next. Now, so please initially submitters. Okay, so who can submit the record? Means this is one way. Earlier I showed, right, Akshay is system admin who generally submit the requests. So generally, the option only this is the security permission I generally give. Only the owner of the record, that is customer owner, can only submit the record. This is the default submission. I can even select some user also, Nishant. If Nishant is there, is like support guy in our company, is administrator who generally works on approval process and submission of the requests. I can put down this. So this Nishant can submit all the records, not only the one customer's record. If there are 5,000 employees in your company, he can submit all the requests of 5,000 employees. Customer owner means only the person who created the record can only submit the request. This person means even though this person submit the request on the behalf of customer owner, the request will go to the customer owner only. Because I have checked the checkbox in the previous scenario, that is, only the request has to go to the customer manager, not to the Nishant's manager. Okay. So it's simply means it depends on the requirement. If you show this option to the user, to the customer, that we can even do this, he might ask, yeah, please do this. Where, for suppose, all the expenses related to the finance, so the financial assistant can also be the person who can submit the requests. I can do that so that his manager will submit all the he approve all the records. That way also you can do it. So allow submitters to recall approval requests. What means once I am submitting the request, if I am allowing this checkbox, if I'm checking this checkbox, means I can recall the request. Means I can stop the request in between. If I'm not checking this, I cannot recall the request. Only the manager has to reject or approve. There's only two ways for the manager. Yeah. So we have just now created the approval process. Okay. So if this says, if I want to create one more step of approval process, okay, I can check this. I have to check this if I want to create one more step. No, if I do later, let me see the approval detail page to view what I have just created. So these are saying no currently. I'll just click on no. So now I came to the previous page. There are no approval steps currently. Now, so if you want to see the actual flow, so generally this is like a flow, right? If a record is submitted, it will go to the manager. It will, whether if it is approved or disapproved. If you want to see in like a flow chart, okay, just click on view diagram. You can see the complete thing in a diagrammatic representation. When the record is means entered into the criteria, based on this criteria, it enters into the approval process. Approval process started. whenever I clicked on submit for approval button, it goes to initial submission record locked. Approval step. There is no approval step here. Simply we are showing the current approval process. Okay. Let's create a step to create the approval process. Okay, the basic first level step. I'm creating new approval step. I will say expense between sorry, $1,000. Step 1. That's a simple step name. Enter the step only if the following criteria are met. Else approve the record. Okay, I can do one thing. Go back. Yeah. Previous step I will say. $5,000 or more, because as we are creating only one step, even though if you create more than one step, 5,000 or more. Okay, clicking on next. So customer monthly salary, if it is greater than 5,000. Okay, so this is the first step I'm giving. Only if the criteria is met only, it will go to the step 1. Okay, I'm clicking on next. So who will be the approver? Automatically assign the user field selected earlier of manager. That's it. Or else I can even create a separate queue of the people who generally approves the request. For suppose for the finance team, I create 4 or 5 people. I will create a queue for them. So if there are 5,000 employees, all the requests submitting to these people will be generally assigned to this queue. It's like a finance queue, or okay, so that each and every request coming to this queue will be shared by all the 4 people. If there are 4,000 requests from 5,000 people, 1,000 requests can be shared between this queue people, the 4 people. Currently, I don't have that many people. I am generally giving the managers field. Okay. So if I'm selecting this, even the delegated approver also can select this field. I can even do that. For suppose if the manager is not available, that times it may work. So that's reason some people will even use this rule also. Click on save. And I can do even the approve, means what all the actions what I have done in workflow rule. I can even do that here. After a request has been approved, I can even do some task assignment. I can even do a email alert. I can even do, see, these are all actions. I can do it here. Again, the 4 actions: task, email alert, outbound message, and field update. So if I don't want to do anything, or else I can even send out one more email alert saying, if I select email alert, if I click on go, I can select the email alert for approved action. See, when I coming back to the next screen, so there are totally three options. One is yes, I need I need to send out an action when the record is approved. When the record is rejected, I need to do one more action. Means when the record is approved, I can do the email alert saying, congratulations, your request has been approved by your manager. That email alert, I can do it. On rejection also, I can do one more email alert saying, sorry, we are sorry that your request has been rejected by your manager. Please resubmit the request with the updated information by decreasing the amount of value. You can even put down the comment what the user have given. Please check the comment which is given by your manager. I can put down this message in the email template, and I can use that message on this. If I don't want to do any of these things, click on no. I will do this later.
Venkat, I got the question.
Yeah.
In the same screen, sir, can we select the both? That yes, I would like to create a new approval. Yes, I want to create a new rejection action.
Yeah. See. Yeah. You can't create the both the things. You can create only one, because if I'm selecting this, it's disabling it. So what happens here is, I'll show this. Let's do one thing. Let's create approval action request step now. I'm clicking on go. Once the approval request has been submitted, I'm going to do some action. Okay, that is approved. Template, I'm again selecting the same template. I know that's really means it's not relevant template, but still I'm selecting this. The information what it shows is totally different. And recipient type, the owner of the person, right? The owner of the record, that is this. And additional email address if I want to put me in CC. Anyway, owner is my Winkyworks only. No worries. Okay. I'm clicking on save. Okay. Now this is what happened, right? Okay. If you see my view diagram now, I can show you how the action is fired. So it went into step 1. This is the flow chart for that. If the request is up, means if it went to step 1, if the criteria is, if it's greater than 5,000, it goes to here. The step is 5,000 or more step. Okay. If it is approved, see approval action. It sends the email. So you can see the email message here. Okay. And after that, the record is approved and record is logged. Once the record is approved, there is no means it simply logs it. Okay. If the record is not entering into the criteria, again the record is obviously is approved, because 0 to 5,000 I don't want to go into the approval process. Simply the record will be approved. That's fine. Okay. And if it is rejected by your manager, the record is unlocked and it's available. The customer is rejected, and he can resubmit this request again. The customer can resubmit the request. Unlocked means it's open. He can modify the record. The user can modify the record and he can submit again. Now this approval request will say the record is approved and it's logged, and you cannot modify the record now. once the record is submitted. This is the actual flow. You can add these actions. Okay, even till here also you can add these actions. So you can add the actions here at final approval actions here, final rejection actions. I can click on see add new action also. But in the previous window, I am unable to add it because it's only showing this one option. Okay. I can even add the rejection action here also. See, click on add rejection action. Email template. Again, I will do the same template. The customer object notification. Again, to the record owner. Leave it. Now go back to your view diagram. See, now you have seen one more email alert on rejection also. That action you means we are able to create on the approval detail page. There is one action on approval also, one action on rejection also. Let's go back. By activating this, I can go through the customer object. Remember now the previous approval step is not working. The approval step created by us is active. I'm going to the customer object, or else I'm clicking on clone and giving, see, I'm currently cloning the existing customer, that is customer 999, and I'll put the salary as 9,000. Okay, and again the country I gave is China, because the basic step to enter into the criteria is this. If I'm selecting USA, it won't even enter. Okay, I'm clicking on submit. Now I have the approval, submit for approval button. Oh sorry, because if I click on submit for approval button, it shows error to me. Okay, I will do one thing, because I don't have manager field in C. I'll show that to you. Error. Unable to send your approval request because the value is empty in your please contact your administrator. In the manager field, the manager field is empty. Go back to this record, click on customers, click on all go, customer 999. I'm going to clone this. I'm clicking on save, because if I'm not cloning this, the record is not mine. Also, I'll click on edit. I will change the number to 1000. This is my record now. This is my record created by training one at training's participant user. The username for this is training1@cblsolutions.com. Okay. Anyway, the email address is same. Okay, don't worry about that. I can create multiple users with the same email address also. Now I'm clicking on submit for approval button. Once I got the message saying once your record is submitted for approval, you might not be able to edit it or recall it from the approval process depending on your settings. Continue, because I don't have option. I didn't give option to even recall also. Remember. Now the record is logged. Okay, the record is logged, and you can go back to home. See, if I go back to my home, this is the place where the managers can see the requests. See, the approval request will come into this section. I can place this section a little bit higher also, because I can even adjust this. I can even modify the home page components like any way I want. If this is important to me, I can even put down this above calendar also. This is the calendar component. I can put it above on this, or I can put it above dashboard also. Let's say I'm opening this approval request. I can even directly approve or reject or reassign. I can do these actions. I'm clicking on approve or reject. It will take to the approval request screen. I can put down some comments saying, see, this is called approval history. Okay, approval history. It shows the approval request is submitted by this person. This is still in pending for the first approval step. This is the step name and the time. Each and every time it shows the timing also. Okay, now I'm saying it's approved. Yeah, your salary is approved. So clicking on approve. See now what happens. So this is the approval history, and you can see this request directly. And again, what is approval layout? So this is approval history. What happened to this request? This is submitted. This is approved. If I go back to the person who is approving the record, I'm creating one more record. That is 1001, and I'm clicking on. I'm giving more salary. I'm requesting this salary. Very big salary. Still, it goes to the approval process because the amount is big. It's more than 5,000. Now come back here. Go to your home page. So now, what is approval page layout is this. I'll click on the fish. Is it? Oh, I haven't clicked on submit for approval button till now. I'm clicking on submit for approval. So only the record will go only when you click on submit for approval only. Again, when you click on submit for approval button also, if the record satisfied the condition to go into the approval process, the country, if it belongs to China, India, or other countries, except USA, or again the monthly salary is greater than that's the basic entry level criteria. For entering into the step, this is the criteria. Greater than $5,000 is the criteria. Now come back to the home page, click on refresh. Now if you go down, now the request is here, that is customer 1001. So this is the approval page layout. So it shows this a customer information, date submitted, and all this stuff. If you click on this, I can see the request. Now I can even, if I click on recalls approval request means I can recall the request because I am the manager here. I can ask him to submit the request again because the expense is big. Clicking on recall submit request, I can put on some comment saying your salary request is reduced. Now I recalled it. Go back to your customer means to the other browser and click on refresh. So in the approval history, I can see the record is submitted, and this is what your manager gave. The status is recalled. Your request is your salary request is more. Please reduce it and send it. Now I have an option to modify. See, because earlier I have a button called a record logged. Okay, because the record is logged at that point of time. Now it's unlocked because the manager recalled it. Now I'm doing it as 10,000 only. I'm clicking on save. Now I'm clicking on submit for approval again, clicking on OK. I want to show you the history. See what happened here. The record is again, means the manager gave this thing. Again, the request is submitted by updating the record. This is the fourth history. Again, the status is pending. I can see the status on this record. Go back and I can check my status. So if I go to my home screen again, if I click on refresh also, I can see the same status on this manager side also. What's happening here? See, same thing you can see. I can click on approval request on this page, or even I can even access it even in the home page also. Because every time I cannot fetch the customer records. If there are 50 employees working under me, I can't go to one by one record. I can even do it all from my home screen also. Reassign. For suppose if this is having some question to me, if I need some approval from a manager, I'm reassigning. So I can reassign to some other user also. Okay, so it's actually assigned to this person. I'm changing the approval to my manager personally. This is a single step approval process, but I can make it dynamically. I can assign the request, all the requests going above from 10,000 to 15,000. I can send the request to my manager also. Here what I can do is I can select this lookup. This is manually I'm assigning my manager. For example, if my manager is Nishant, I can select this. Now the request will go to Nishant, but Nishant is not a Salesforce user. He cannot approve the request. Okay. So if I'm clicking on reassign approval request, means I feel that means what happened in this scenario is the amount 10,000 is okay, but I have a question. I have to check with my HR department whether they are okay with that, or the finance department is okay with that or not. That's the reason I'm reassigning the request. It went to Nishant. It's not with me. It's not in my hands now. The approval request has reassigned to this person, Nishant. So pending, it's reassigned to Nishant. Now it became the actual approval is Nishant only. Initially it's Venkat G, the previous process, and it's pending. Now Nishant has to approve to approve the record. Nishant has to go login, has to click on approve. Let's see what's happening to our emails. Come back to our gmail.com and see, we'll be getting a lot of emails on the approval request, on the rejections, on each and everything. Okay. I see a lot of emails in my screen. Yeah. Congrats. Because see, this is not the approval template. That's the reason I'm not getting the information on the behalf of it. See, I'm simply getting the customer details, but the information it's simply saying congratulations. It's not the actual template. I have to give it here. I have to give the request have been submitted. Please approve the record line. This I have to give it. I don't know which is approval request or which is congratulations message. Each and every message is a congratulations message here. Let's do one thing. Let's create one more request from click on this, click on clone, I'll create 1002 with 9009. Clicking on save, clicking on submit for approval process. Now let's see your email. I'll see. Yeah, I already got it 1002. That's fine. Yeah, I already got it right. 1002. This is what I created just now. This is the record. What I'm doing is I'm replying this. I'm checking, okay, whether my email to approval is enabled or not. Email is sent. go back to my settings. That option will show it to you how to enable things with email. So enable email approval response. Click on this, click on save. That's okay. And now I'm getting one more request from my side. Click on clone. That is 1003. Click on save. Now go back to your email. Now I have 1003 record. I'm clicking on reply. PPROVD approve. Approve. Okay. Approve. I'm clicking on simply approve message. Replying it. Okay. Coming back to the system and checking on your home screen, I have to see the customer 1003 record is not here. Whether I submit the request for approval, I will check it. Oh, I haven't submitted till now. Click on submit because the email which I'm getting is the different email. It's from the workflow rule. Now I'm sending the request. Now I have done that. Now check your email. You'll get one more email from on 1003. Yes, I got it. I'm clicking on reply. What I will say it as approve. Come back to your system. Click on refresh. Still, I don't see 1003 request is here. Still in pending. It's only coming to me. It's not coming to here. Update approval request. We have to do this. There is something left which is remaining. By enabling this approval request response feature, you agree to allow Salesforce.com to process email approval responses. Update approval request. I have to click on save. But I haven't done it before. That's what it's. email to Salesforce. Yeah, now let's try the same thing. Okay, let's um, come back here. Okay, close the record. I'm getting 1004 with 11,000. That's fine for this role. Okay, I'm clicking on save. Submit for approval process. Now I'll get an email. I got 2 emails. I'm going to reply. So what I will say is I don't know why this feature is not enabled still. Let me check. Because I think I gave the same email for both the users, it seems. Let's try creating modifying the user to different username. I'll try that. Give me a second. Because as I'm using the same email address, the approval is same, and let's try that. First of all, let's go to the setup. Click on. I will do it from the system admin side. I'll modify. Click on edit. Venkat down. I'm clicking on save. Okay, now for activating this thing, so whenever I'm changing my email address, the request will be coming to my new email. I have to click on this link to validate that I'm okay with this. See, this is simply verification to change your email address. I can't simply give some other guy's email address. Okay, so now this is approved. Now I'm going to create a new customer record clone 51005. Click on save, submit for approval. Okay, I got 3 emails. I got 1 email. It's fine. Cool. Okay. Now I'm going to reply. See, approve, send, check my log, click on refresh. Oh, still it's in pending. Yeah. Yeah. I will show this demo on email approvals. Okay, that's possible, but there is somehow have to tweak this instance. I don't know what's happening here. Okay. So I can do approvals and rejections from my home page or my on my customer record also. I can even reject this because it's very too much. One ten k dollars. Okay, I can. It's too much. I'm clicking on reject. Now you can see the same step. Oh, hey, what happened here? I clicked on submit. I clicked on submit for approval. I only clicked on rejection status, sir. Okay, it's too bad. Signing participants cannot approve his record. So I have to remove the permissions for approving the record on this one, on his one. I'll work on this. So there is some settings. I'm clicking on clone. I'm clicking on customer 6. Clicking on save. Okay. And now submit for approval button. Clicking on refresh to see the history. It went into the first step. Okay. If I'm going to my settings, or I can check this from here. Click on edit. Who will be the approver of this? Yeah. Yeah. I am. So the manager is Venkatji. So the request will go to this guy. Obviously, comes to home screen. So 1006 request is here. So this is how it works. People submit the request, manager has to approve. Okay. I'm going to check my approval process again to maybe the email thing should work. So these approval posts are like messages. You can create some templates for that. Your request has been approved like this. Uh, so you can create it. So for account object, you can your account has been approved. by putting down some message here. You can um, on what fields you want to be on the template. You can keep this. Okay. If you click on view example, see it shows like this on your charter screen. So uh, the approval request has been submitted. This is the fields what you are showing it on this, and you can directly approve it on your charter screen also. Okay. This is for the account object. I can do this messages very specific to the object. If I feel some objects are important on the customer object, like salary and few informations, I can even do that. Let's go to approval process again and check the step 1. This is the currently active approval process. That's what we made in this step. I want to click on edit, and I want to go next, and I want to check who is the approvers. Yeah, this is fine. There's no issues with this. Currently, means what I'm trying to show is um, the person who is submitting the request is able to modify the actions also. That's the reason I'm checking it. But it shows the logs. Okay, if he is trying to submit the record, it shows the logs saying that who approved the record also. If I'm clicking on refresh, this is Venkat submitted. But if you go to the customer record 10005, which is submitted by this person only, then I can see the request. See, actual approver, I can see it. Now this is not the valid thing, right? So the request submitted by Train Venkat G only is the actual approval. He can even see this because I tried to create the request and I have submitted as this user only. That's the reason I'm trying to check whether I have given the approver as this guy also. It's not. Yeah. So this is here to identify who approved the record also. Okay. So this is the approval steps, approval process, and I want to show you how the email thing works. Okay.
Venkat?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got it out. You said that once it is approved, then it will be logged and there will be no other submission for approval again. But it
Yeah.
is still like you're getting another option, right? Submit for approval again. Why is that so?
Uh, because again, if you means I can even modify the record because once the record is submitted, it's logged. I can remove this button. I can click on submit for approval. See,
Okay.
you may not be able to edit a record. No, okay. See, this record is having because what happened here is the request is not submitted by Venkat initially. Now this is I am doing now the actual request I'm submitting now. Now if I go back to 1005, I'll show this thing because this is the problem only with 1005. If you come back to this, now I got the request. Once this request has been submitted by this person, approve, come back to the screen. Now the record is approved by Venkat J only. Yeah, still I can see this. Means once the record is approved, that's fine. You no need to again submit for approval process, but I can disable this button once the record is submitted. I can remove from the page layout also. That type of things I can build it. But currently here I am directly showing, and again he can submit for one more time also. I can do means I can remove these buttons. Okay.
Okay.
I can even remove the edit button also on approval submission also. Yeah. I'll try that in the coming class. Okay. And in the coming class, I will show you the option of sending off option of reply using emails for approving the requests. Actually, it should work. Somehow it's not working. I will check my email settings in email send as email user. So if that is problem only with when I'm using Gmail, I will try to use my corporate email which I have. That might work. I'll check all the options and I will show it in tomorrow's class. Okay. So any questions? And I will try to remove these buttons also on the detail page. Once the record has been submitted, I will try to remove this stuff, even edit button and submit approval button on this record. What happens here is I can, because I might have given the system administrator permissions for this guy. That's the reason he has all the permissions. That's one of the main thing. Let's check that. I forgotten that. Yeah, anyway, this profile is good. But if I will go to general permissions of this profile, yeah, I'll try to show this. Again, he's not a system admin, so let's check this. I'll see that to you. I'll show that to you in tomorrow's class. Okay. Things I have to show you the email thing and even the approval buttons. Okay, there is some issue here. I will try to fix it and I will show to you. Okay. Yeah, I will do that, Nikhil. I'll upload it today, the previous videos as well. So in today's class, we discussed about approval process, how to create it. And if you have any confusion, you can click on the flow chart, the diagram on the approval page. Okay. And you can create a number of steps. So means try creating only one step in your developer edition. That's fine, because you cannot create even more than that. Even though if you create, you cannot even see these things. Okay. I can create multiple steps, but I don't know to which user I have to give the approval permissions. See, again, when you are creating the approval process, you have to put down things in a really clear way. See, the first step, if there are many users in my system, I can give the rule like this. Basic approval step will enter only if the country belongs to China, India, all other countries except USA. That's fine. Approval steps is if the expense is more than 5,000, it enters the first step. Simple. The condition I give is expense greater than 5,000. It can be 10,000 also. It should enter into the first step. Again, the second step, what I will create is expense greater than 10,000. I will give it. I generally don't give the next limit. What is the maximum limit? I don't give. What is the minimum limit? I will give it. So that if the request is $15,000, the request will go to the step 1 first. The first guy has to approve, and again the request will go to the second step also. The second guy will approve now, because if again if the request says that if it is 20,000, it will go to 1, 2, 3. Okay. If I am giving as in the first step, if I am giving only 5,000 to 10,000, the step will be the first step will not be executed if it is giving 15,000. Okay, it won't work that way. The workflow will won't work that way, the proper way. Okay, you have to give the starting limit 5,000. The minimum means if expense is greater than 5,000. Second time expense greater than 10,000, go to the senior manager. Expense greater than 20,000, go to the DU lead. Expense greater than 50,000, go to the CFO of the company. You can do like this. That steps you can create it. Okay. Yeah. Let's meet in tomorrow's class, Friday's class. Okay. And we'll try to figure out the issues with approval process, and even we'll start with users and roles and profiles. So it might end by next two classes. Tomorrow's class, off class, I will use the users object explanation, users and roles explanation. Users is very important object in Salesforce. Everything is revolving around that only. Whenever you're creating any record also, record created by, last modified by, owner, all this information is the user record relationship only. Okay. And you cannot delete the user. That's the main thing. You cannot delete the users in Salesforce. You can only deactivate them. For suppose if an employee joins in your company, you create a new user, and he can, if you create a new user, it sends a password setting link to him, and he will set the password and he will use it. After 1 year, if he's leaving, you cannot delete the record. You can only deactivate the user. Okay, that's how you do. Okay, we'll work on this in the next class. Thanks, guys. Thanks for joining. I will upload this